Hannah Zorn back with Jason McCourty and the gang taking you through DK Metcalf. Revenge game against his former team, the Steelers? At least it looked good early on.
It did look good early on. You say what's up to all the guys before the game, then you go dunk on them once the game starts. That's the way you do it, DK.
Meanwhile, here's Aaron Rodgers scrambling, finds Pat Fryermuth, but he's picked off by Darion Kendrick. And boy, is he frustrated.
Ball bounces in the air, hits Calvin Austin's hands, and it ends up in the Seahawks' hand. And Aaron Rodgers is not a happy camper.
Yeah, he was ticked off at Austin. All right, Jason Myers kicks it deep to the rookie Caleb Johnson, but he let it bounce over him into the end zone. Just an absolutely bonehead, huge error.
New dynamic kickoff means new rules. Ball lands in the landing zone. Doesn't matter whether you touch it or not. The ball has to be down. This is a crucial mistake. The game was still close at this moment, and you give up an easy 7 points. Kudos to Seattle running down there, getting on the ball, well aware of what the result would be.
Yeah, George Halani recovering it for a touchdown, and then Kenneth Walker III getting the toss, taking it in from 19 yards. The Seahawks get the win, 31-17. Here's Rodgers after the loss.
No, it's week 2. Come on now. Come on. It's week 2. I mean, like, it's good for us. Last week, probably there were some people who were feeling pretty good because everybody outside the building is talking about how great we were on offense and 34 points. That's the league. You can't ride the highs or ride the lows. You know, you gotta refocus every single week and be a professional.
You can just kind of hear him saying RELAX. Mina, you picked the Hawks to win this one. What was that defense able to do to get after Rodgers yesterday?
They made him uncomfortable the entire game. This is a top 5 defense in the NFL, guys. And while a lot of people don't know the names of Leonard Williams, Derek Hall, Boye Mafe, Byron Murphy Jr., they were fantastic yesterday. Murphy in particular, you know, he was a first-round pick a year ago, wasn't a massive contributor year one. In this game, I thought he was unbelievable coming off of stunts, getting penetration versus the run. And anytime Aaron Rodgers had to throw the ball in over 2.5 seconds, he had a QBR of 8. Single digit, 8.
Wow.
And that's really starts up front for Seattle. They're so sound at every level, but that 4-man rush, watch out for it.
Okay, can we talk about, though, that defense for the home team, Pittsburgh? Really disappointing. Yeah, what happened there, J-Mac?
They're supposed to be
what didn't happen?
Yeah, exactly. They're supposed to be the backbone of this team, and they're supposed to be the ones carrying them, but there's so much expectations for the offense to do it. I looked at what Pittsburgh did, and they just weren't physical enough. Seattle decided to come out in big people, 3 tight ends, 2 tight ends. And then on top of that, you got to correct the mistakes from a week ago. Here it is, the Jets in week 1. They line up in tight splits and they go on double crossing routes and are able to score a touchdown. The same exact formation, except the quarterback was in gun a week ago. This past week, yesterday, now Sam Darnold gets under center in the same exact formation. They run the same play and they score a touchdown in the same area of the field. This is not the Pittsburgh defense that we expected.
I thought coming into the year that the Steelers had a passable offense that could become above average and a championship caliber defense, which would be good enough to get them into the playoffs. They're 2 games, they're 1-1, and it's not because of the defense. You saw some of the statistics that were flashed on the graphic there. Basically, any area that involves defense, the Steelers are not good in. And the surprising part to me is that, yes, they are integrating some new pieces into this defense. It's guys like Jalen Ramsey, Darius Slay, who have been around forever in the NFL. Those are the kind of guys that you don't worry about what kind of role they're going to have. And by the way, Ramsey was exceptional yesterday with a big interception. I have zero idea how this Steelers defense can be so pedestrian through the first 2 weeks of the season. No physicality in the running game up front, just completely flummoxed by this lackluster start for them.
Well, I won't say it's a blueprint, but run away from TJ Watt. We're seeing it now in 2 weeks. And J-Mac, you talked about how the Seahawks put big bodies out there. It was all 12, 13, 21, 22 personnel. What's so alarming is Pittsburgh matched that almost entirely with base, meaning 4 defensive backs, 3 linebackers, and they still got thrown out the club at the second, third level of this defense. So, yeah, I'm very worried about that run defense and especially what offenses are able to do when they just run away from TJ Watt.
I like that, Mina. No black shirts inside the club. They just kicked them all out and escorted them. And I'm right with you. And I think that opened up everything else. When they were able to start running the ball, then they got in tight splits. And now next thing you know, JSN is wide open over the course of the middle. Sam Darnold didn't hold the ball in his hand at all. They stretched him horizontally and were able to make plays down the field.
Yeah, giving up back-to-back 100-yard rushers. Watt hasn't had a sack in 6 weeks. They are at the Patriots.
The Steelers Nation, what a roller coaster today. We came into week 2 riding high from that comeback win over the Jets, feeling the energy, watching Aaron Rodgers settle in, hoping the defense would lock down, expecting special teams to at least be steady. And what we got was, well, a reality check. Seattle beat Pittsburgh 31-17, and while that final score stings, the loss reveals flaws, yes, but also sparks hope that this team can still fight, still improve, still become everything we want them to be. Let's start with the ugly, the fourth quarter collapse. Down the stretch, Seattle outscored the Steelers 17-3. That kickoff return misplay by rookie Caleb Johnson, a brutal moment. The ball bounced into the end zone, Seattle pounced, and suddenly, what might have been a manageable margin exploded. That arrow stretched Seattle's lead to 24-14, and psychologically it felt like that was the dagger, the moment when Pittsburgh lost control. Special teams, which we hoped would be a strength or at least neutral, instead handed Seattle free points. That is costly. Then the offense. Rodgers had flashes, some throws, some drive managing moments, but overall uneven. On third downs, the offense struggled. The run game was better than week 1, but still far from dominant. Jaylen Warren continues to show up, again proving that the Steelers made the right move locking him up with that 2-year extension. He's earned it. His yards from scrimmage were encouraging, especially in short yardage situations. Kenneth Gainwell, Johnson, others, all part of the mix. Defense, that was supposed to be the backbone. But again, middle of the field mat exposed. Lines were crossed. Seattle found seams. Pass rush inconsistent. TJ Watt, we need you back in that elite mode. The investment in this unit demands more. Add in injuries. Alex Highsmith suffering a high ankle sprain. Also some issues in run defense. But here's a glimmer. Despite the struggle, there were bright spots. Cornerback Jalen Ramsey had an interception, blocked the field goal. Nick Herbig had impact plays. The depth shows some promise. Here's what gives me hope, even though this loss hurts. 1, this is only week 2. There's time. 2, many of the mistakes are fixable. Not mental breakdowns across every play, but lapses in special teams, drops, protection problems, breakdowns in coverage. Those are all things coaches can correct. 3, the schedule is shifting in ways that may favor Pittsburgh. Some upcoming opponents are dealing with injuries. It's not guaranteed, but momentum could swing. And a final added piece, news that Alex Highsmith is not likely to be placed on injured reserve is a relief. That's good news for the defense. Getting as many starters healthy as possible is key for consistency and for closing out tight games. So what must the Steelers do to turn it around? They must tighten special teams, especially kickoff and return discipline. They must get more consistent pass protection. Rodgers can't keep running for his life. They must lean into Warren more. Let him be a focal point. They must correct middle of field breakdowns in coverage and be more aggressive where possible. Coaching staff must hold all players accountable, veterans, rookies, everybody. To all the fans watching, this loss does not define the season. It exposes weak links, yes, but also shows where effort and heart still exist. The Steelers are a proud franchise with a legacy. We've seen worse starts come out better. If this current squad can commit to improvement, learn from the mistakes, harness the urgency, they can still make noise in the AFC. I believe this Steelers team has more in the tank. Tell me what you think. Was this loss a sign of collapse or wake-up call? What's the single biggest change the Steelers must make before week 3? If you like this breakdown, hit that like button. Subscribe to Steelers Nation Wire. Share your opinion down below. Let's talk as fans, because this is our team, and together we ride or fall.